So our brother, Dr. Umar Johnson, posted this video on YouTube asking for black NBA players to not show up for training camp until we get Brittney Griner back. Now, I'm not going to play the video, but I will have a link in the description. You guys can check it out for yourself. Now, as we know, Brittney Griner got sentenced to 9 years in prison in Russia. Now for starters, I am not happy about her sentence. I feel that is too long. I feel it's too tough. And not just her sentence. And also, guys, if you don't know, a teacher by the name of Mark Fogel was sentenced similar to Brittney Griner for the same situation of having possession. He was sentenced to 14 years in prison in Russia. And unfortunately, he hasn't gotten as much as media attention as Brittney Griner, and he didn't even get offered a trade swap between US and Russia to get him out. Both of their situations very tough, and I feel that the sentences are too much. From what Dr. Umar Johnson is saying, I know that he loves the black community. He's very pro-black. What does this have to do with NBA players? What does the choices of Brittney Griner have to do with these guys? It's not their business. They've done the most that they can. They've spoken out. They sent positive tweets. But what else can they do? To protest, to not show up, to miss out on games for the mistake of somebody else? So let's say that they actually decide to protest and not show up for training camp. So what about if another similar WNBA player or celebrity makes the same similar mistake as Brittney Griner? Should they also protest and not show up to training camp for them too? Yes, it's a very tough sentence. Brittney Griner should not be spending 9 years. Mr. Mark Fogel should not be spending 14 years in prison. But however, that is the tough part about traveling overseas. They do not play. They will not have no pity, no mercy on you just because you're a foreigner, just because you're American, just because of your status. If you're an NBA player, WNBA player, if you're a millionaire, they do not care. They're very tough, especially a country like Russia. So when you're traveling overseas, guys, always make sure to check your luggage. Make sure you don't have anything on accident that could cause you to get locked up in any country, because you don't know every single law that they have. In America, when it comes to laws, compared to overseas, we have it easier, okay? Overseas, they do not play. We see the sins that they just gave Brittney Griner. 9 years. No way would she be doing 9 years if it was America. This is something that some people are going to be pissed at, but this is why some people say that if you can't do the time, don't do the crime. When it comes to Brittney Griner, when it comes to Mr. Mark Fogel, some people feel that they made their bed and they should lay in it, because how can you make a mistake of having marijuana inside of your luggage? Why did you not check? Did you not know that it's something that is illegal and can get you into big trouble? It's your fault. Some people feel that way. Now, I'm not saying they're right. I'm not saying they're wrong, but I'm just putting it out there. Some people feel that way. They feel that Brittney Griner deserves the sentence that she got. When it comes to people like Dr. Umar Johnson, at what point do we allow people to take responsibility for their own actions? We can't go out there and protest every time something happens, every time somebody makes a mistake. She has a trade swap for Mr. Victor, who is actually a convicted arm dealer that was sentenced to 25 years, all right? 25 years. And he's been held in the United States since June of 2012. So this is the guy that America is offering to trade swap with Russia. Russia wants him back, and in exchange, America will get Brittney Griner back. Now, it's up to you to argue, is it worth us trade swapping a basketball player for a convicted arms dealer who was also convicted for conspiracy to kill US citizens and officials and providing aid to terrorist organizations? Is that worth swapping? And you know, once he gets to Russia, most likely they're probably gonna praise him and he might be set free. Is it worth it? Trade swapping a guy like this just for a WNBA player? And also the other question is, what about the people that are not like Brittney Griner? What about the regular everyday folks that go overseas that get locked up? They made mistakes similar to Brittney Griner, but they don't have the media making a huge outcry for them. They don't have the media pleading for them. They don't have the US making trade swaps for them. Should NBA players not show up to training camps for them? Some people feel that what makes Brittney Griner's life more valuable than people like Mr. Mark Fogel, who, although his name is in the media, he's not getting a public outcry. He's not getting a trade swap offer for him. What makes Brittney Griner more special than him? And she committed a similar crime as him. What about the other Americans all over the world, not just in Russia, that are still locked up for similar crimes that are in America would be considered something minor, but overseas they get a hefty punishment. What makes Brittney Griner more special than them? Now, this entire situation is unfortunate, and I really do hope that Brittney Griner gets back and can come back to the US. And not just Brittney Griner, but I also hope Mr. Mark Fogel and any American that is locked up overseas for a crime that is considered minor in our country but is very hefty in their country, I really hope that justice gets served for them. But when it comes to what Dr. Umar is talking about, at what point do we allow people to take responsibility for their own actions? At what point do we allow NBA players and just athletes in general just to be athletes? Why do we expect them to be politicians? Why do we expect them to be Malcolm X? Why do we expect them to always have to stick their heads out and be the line of defense whenever something happens in the black community? Why can't they just play ball? Why are they expected to fill the roles of politicians and activists? And if they choose to not want to, are they truly wrong? Should they get blamed for this? Should they be held accountable and responsible for the fact that they did not stick their heads out? Brittney Griner, or anybody that's done a crime overseas that has nothing to do with them? Should they get blamed? Should they get held accountable? Should they get backlash? Or should they allow the person to take responsibility for their own actions? These are things that we can debate all day. But guys, let me know what you think. And with that being said, I am out.